Today I'll be talking about a very important topic, which is sexual side effects of finasteride. We have compiled a lot of scientific studies in a very simplistic manner so that you can arrive at a meaningful decision making. This is called evidence-based medicine. We reviewed the side effects of finasteride at the dose of 5 mg, which is given for the treatment of prostatic disorders. So we compiled 5 studies and viewed the incidence of the side effects in them, and it came out that erectile dysfunction varies from 0 to 10%, reduced libido 2 to 6%, and reduced ejaculate volume from 1 to 3%. Yet another study of more than 17,000 patients in whom finasteride was given in a dosage of 5 mg for a period of more than 7 years, it found that the incidence of sexual side effects was increased to a very slight extent. So now compiling the studies in which finasteride was given at 1 mg dose. So this study, which was published in 2010 in Archives of Dermatology, they found that there was very slight increase in erectile dysfunction. 1 in 80 patients developed that, and the other side effects like reduced libido and reduced ejaculatory volume were not increased significantly in the finasteride group. Another very important study, which was published in the European Journal of Dermatology, which was done on a multinational level over a 5-year period, found that there was less than 2% incidence of sexual side effects, and the people who continue to take finasteride despite the side effects, in them also the side effects disappeared. Another important milestone study, which was published in Journal of American Academy of Dermatology, which is a very reputed journal of dermatology, found that risk of side effects in patients who were taking finasteride versus placebo was like this. The erectile dysfunction in patients who were taking finasteride was 1.4% versus 0.9% in those taking placebo. Reduced libido was 1.9% versus 1.3% in the placebo group. Reduced ejaculatory volume was 1% versus 0.4% in the placebo group. Another study from Japan found that the incidence of sexual side effect in finasteride versus the placebo group was almost the same, which was 2%. Another study by Layden et al. In Journal of American Academy of Dermatology found that the incidence of sexual side effect was 1.9% in the finasteride group versus 0.9% in the placebo group. Another study which found that finasteride for androgenetic alopecia is not associated with sexual dysfunction was published in the ISHRS forum in 2019, and the same study was also published in the Journal of European Academy of Dermatology in 2019. Because this study was published in forum, we have kept its printout in our clinic and we give it to all the patients who want to read about finasteride more. Another very important term, nocebo effect, was found by Mondiani et al. They found that finasteride was administered to a group of patients, and one group was informed that they are taking finasteride and another group was not informed that they are taking finasteride. They found that the incidence of erectile dysfunction is more in the informed group than in the uninformed group. So they concluded that adverse effect is more due to the psychological awareness of the possible side effect. It is not a direct pharmacological action, and the side effect of ED, it reversed within 5 days of stopping the medicine. So the conclusion is, if we are thinking negatively about one side effect, we will attract that side effect and we will assume that it is happening to us. So that is why it is encouraged that patients should not do the medical research on Google. Rather, they should go to PubMed.com, where all the indexed journal and scientific publications are listed if they actually want to do some study on their own about the medical field. The patient should trust their skill set and experience of their treating doctor rather than relying on Google. Now coming to the entity of post-finasteride syndrome. So post-finasteride syndrome is persistent sexual side effects which occur even after stopping finasteride. This might include erectile dysfunction, libido disorders, ejaculation disorders, male infertility, poor semen quality, and testicular pain. So there are some studies which conclude that post-finasteride syndrome doesn't exist at all, and they call it a delusional disorder. However, there are papers, review papers, which conclude that it's an unsurmountable problem and this entity does exist. We have highlighted the positive studies with the green and negative studies with the red. This is the press release of International Society of Hair Restoration Surgery, which is the largest body consisting of hair restoration surgeons across the globe. So they concluded that since finasteride is the only US FDA approved oral drug for treatment of androgenetic alopecia, anecdotal reports of persistent side effects should not define the safety and effectiveness of this drug. Now coming to our conclusion. We agree that the finasteride is the only drug and most effective drug available right now for the treatment of male pattern baldness. It is more or less safe on long-term use. There is no causal relationship between the intake of finasteride and the sexual side effects. But since the usage is for a cosmetic purpose, which is regaining your hair and stopping the progression of baldness, it is a cosmetic decision and it should be based upon the discretion of the patient. We suggest that people who should avoid finasteride intake are those with reduced sperm count, with proven infertility, and who are too much anxious and they have lot of apprehensions about finasteride. The protocol that we adopt in patients who have side effects of finasteride and they are willing to try the lower dose, we go for a lower dose finasteride, and we have found that 0.2 mg is also quite effective. We also give another schedule of 1 mg on alternate days and sometimes 1 mg twice a week. A new surprise entry into this field is finasteride gel. There are some reports, preliminary reports, which are saying that finasteride gel is effective and is very safe for the treatment of androgenetic alopecia and might act as a good alternative to oral finasteride. But it is too early to conclude any result about that, and we need more studies to prove its efficacy and safety. Maybe next couple of years we'll be more sure about it. But soon we'll be releasing another video about finasteride gel also.
In our practice, we prescribe finasteride 1 mg to all patients. If they are less than 30, definitely give them, and if they are more than 40 and still balding, then we try to give 1 mg every day after giving them proper education and giving all the informations. In the presentation, we have not tried to overwhelm that finasteride is very safe or you should take it, but we have tried to compile all the scientific data in a nutshell and to give to the patients so that they can take a decision themselves.
If you have some questions unanswered related to finasteride, you can put them in the comment box below. We'll try to answer them as soon as possible.